Two more so-called parents have been found guilty of murder of their child. Let's discuss this. Oi, Savaloys, welcome back to Beyond Conviction. Before we start on this one, if you haven't already, if you do enjoy the content, please subscribe and you will be notified of any more videos coming in the future. So, I thought I had a break from all this child death stuff that's been going on recently. But yet again, we've got another couple who have been found guilty of murder of their child. Baby Isabel was murdered at the hands of Alexandra Walker, 25, and Harrison Simpson, 22. Harrison Simpson was also found guilty of the sexual abuse of baby Isabel. The pair will be sentenced tomorrow, i.e. Thursday, at Teesside Crown Court. Obviously, they're up for life sentences. However, the judge needs to decide the minimum tariff both have to serve before they are eligible for release. We all know my views. I don't think there should be any minimums spoken about. There should be life off for life, or, if needs be, bring back hanging. I want to know your thoughts, guys. I ask you this on a few videos. I've got some mixed responses. Do you think for offences such as this, which is clearly getting out of hand, because I was going to start putting some content up about the more rehabilitation side of things and to steer away from the cases we're seeing recently, but this one's just popped up. I thought I had a break from it all, and I suppose you guys did as well. And it's almost like a pandemic for children getting hurt and killed. Something really needs to be done. The government need to review this. It's getting totally out of control now. That's for damn sure. During the trial, it was heard that Alexandra, who was in a relationship with Harrison, was aware and apparently had concerns regarding his conduct with her daughter and with children in general. Yet, she still allowed him to look after her alone. So that is insane to think about, isn't it? If you suspect your partner is of any form of risk to your child, you chase him, you get rid. But she never. She kept the relationship going, and more so, she allowed him to look after her daughter whilst she was not present, which is obviously shows a total disregard for the welfare of the child, and she just wanted the relationship to continue regardless of the cost. So, let's talk about Harrison. He's obviously a young man, 22. He's going to spend the vast majority of his days behind bars. He's currently being held on remand at a home house prison, which is in Stockton-on-Tees. And I've never spent time in home house prison, but I know people who have. It used to be my local prison. And he'll be on the numbers in home house prison, which will be like House Block 7. But he isn't going to be staying there for his sentence because it is effectively a local prison, and it also acts as a Category C training prison as well. So he'll be carted off to the likes of Wakefield, Monster Mansion, to spend his sentence stewing away, living in total fear, which is rightly deserved. His girlfriend, Alexandra, is currently remanded at HMP Low Newton in County Durham, which is obviously it's a women's prison. It acts as the local remand centre for women in the northeast of England, but it's also classed as a high security female estate, housing what's called restricted prisoners, which is the female equivalent of Category A prisoners. So the chances are she's going to be spending the majority of her life sentence at Low Newton or prisons like that, i.e. Bronzefield style, and establishments like that house high risk and restricted prisoners. So this case, it comes from my hometown, a place called Thornaby, which is in the northeast of England. And I've been keeping tabs on it throughout the trial. It was a fairly lengthy trial, just peeking in on the news here and there. But since I've been found guilty, I started to read it in a bit more detail. They've only just been found guilty, and the particulars of the case I found very, very disturbing, because for such a young couple, because they are, the young lady's 25, the bloke is 22. For such a young couple, how has it got to such a point where they felt it necessary to cause the death of a very, very young female child? It's becoming so common now in the UK, and I'd like to hear your opinions on it. Is this because the media are reporting more on it? Is this because there's actually is a problem with couples and children now? I've heard on the grapevine that social media has a part to play in it, in the sense of people are wanting to portray their lives as they see those so-called influencers on social media, and get frustrated when they can't achieve the standard of living that they see these so-called influencers showing. So they start to get angry, and they're not content with their own life, and they begin to resent themselves and resent those around them. That's a theory, because I think that's all it is at the moment, a theory that I've been hearing. Or is it there is just a problem with the young people of today, i.e. those under 40, where a lot of people just aren't cut out to be parents, because the idea of having children is a beautiful thing. It's a God-given gift. You know, I've got 2 children. They are everything to me. But it is difficult. Being a parent is a full-time job. It really is. And it's the hardest job in the world. And hats off to single parents. Because for a while my mum was single. And when I lived with my father, for a while he was a single parent. It's the hardest thing in the world. But even as a full family unit, a couple, it is hard work. But what stops tragedies happening amongst normal people is that parental instinct, that want to care for your child, that want to give your child everything you did not have, that want to ensure that your child is educated, fed, happy and entertained. It's just built within people. It's within our DNA. It's within our bodily fibres to do that. That is my view. So where does it go wrong to such point where parents are killing their children? Because it doesn't make sense to me, and I want to know if it makes sense to you guys, because I don't understand how, when it's clearly instilled in our DNA to be parents one day, how it goes so terribly wrong. And I hear a lot, they may have mental issues, they may have, certain past traumatic experiences that are affecting the way they function day to day. Who of us don't? A lot of us do have these, post-traumatic issues. A lot of us have mental health problems, neurodiversity, things like that. But still, that does not mean that children should die because of you're a little bit unwell mentally. I bet everyone listening to this video has some form of mental ailment, or has had some form of mental ailment in the past. Not once would it cross your mind to even think about or dream about wanting to even hurt a hair on a child's head. So I want to put it out there that the United Kingdom has a pandemic regarding the death of multiple children in a very, very short space of time. These 2 monsters, they're getting sentenced tomorrow morning. And I can guarantee I can put every penny that I earn on the line that they will not get more than 35 years tariff between each. They will not get that. But they should get a whole life at a minimum. But is that enough? Is that enough? In prison, yes, it sucks. And especially if you're in for an offence of hurting a child. Not so much on the female side, because I volunteered in a female prison, HMP Peterborough. And there's people in there who are doing long sentences for offences against children. And they're not so much as frowned upon. They're just accepted and almost sympathised with. But on the male side, of obviously offences against children is a big no-no. You are cast aside. You are the scapegoat. You are the target. You are the lowest of the low, and your time in prison is hellish. But you are still living some form of life. You still have some form of regime, and you do adjust to life in prison. You do adjust, especially those in for offences like this. They will at some point adjust to that level of animosity that they face every day due to their offences. But that poor little kid did not even get a chance at it. They didn't even get a chance at life. And they were sent off this planet in the most degrading, awful way. And let's all remember, children do not ask to come here. We didn't ask to come here. You know, parents, so-called parents, brought that child to this earth. And as parents, you owe it. You are indebted to a child to ensure that they grow up happy, fed, clean, safe, and entertained. You owe it to them. You are in the debt to them. That's the way I view it. And it is your job to get them to the age of 18 or onwards and ensure that they're equipped with the tools to go at life and have a good stab at it. That's my view. And I hope those listening to this video, that's your view as well. But because of this pandemic we have with child deaths in the UK, we need to ensure that people are listening to our grievances here. The UK needs to review their sentencing guidelines, as I've stated on previous videos. I am all for bringing back hanging. I know the responses you've gave me in previous videos have been fairly mixed. But if we can bring back such a punishment, but integrate it back into society in a managed and sensible way, i.e. this punishment of the death penalty is only reserved for those convicted of the most heinous crimes, i.e. offences like this, then I think we have done something good on behalf of the children and future children to come. That is my view. And I do stand by it. But I'd like to hear your views. Get them in the comments. Let's see if we can kick up a bit of a stink about it. The UK does have a pandemic regarding child deaths. Something needs to be done about it, and done quick and done efficiently. Let me know your thoughts. Please, I value them. Thank you for listening. I hope this was of some interest. I hope there's been some form of fire lit inside your bellies. We have a problem in the UK and we need to fix it. Peace and love, guys. Thank you.